TikTok wants you to believe you can quit your job, start a side hustle, and be a millionaire in 6 months. The truth, most of that advice isn't just unrealistic, it's dangerous. Today, I'm breaking down 3 of the biggest viral money myths on FinTok that are costing people thousands. And trust me, you've definitely seen at least one of these before. Stick around because by the end of the video, you'll know exactly which money advice to ignore and what to do instead if you actually want to build real wealth. So let me set the stage. The other night I was scrolling TikTok, way too late by the way, and I kept seeing these finance videos pop up. You know the ones, start this side hustle now, make $10,000 a month, passive income by next week. Or here's how you can invest $5 a day and retire a millionaire in no time. I almost watched one just out of curiosity, but then I stopped myself and I laughed because if it were that easy, I'd be recording this video on a yacht, not sitting in front of a white wall. Am I right? But the crazy part is people fall for this stuff every single day. And I don't blame them because the videos are so confident, so polished, and they make it sound so simple. But that's exactly the problem. And that's why we need to talk about the 3 biggest FinTok money myths that are keeping people broke. The first big myth is what I call the easy side hustle lie. These are videos that promise quick money with no skills, no startup costs, and no effort. Think dropshipping, filling out surveys, passive affiliate links, or copy-paste cash apps. And it always sounds like all you need is Wi-Fi and a dream. Here's why it works. People are desperate for extra income, especially now with inflation, housing costs, and student loans. So the promise of quick, easy money is irresistible. But here's the reality. Most of these side hustles either don't work or they take way more time and money than the videos ever admit. I've seen people sink hundreds into ads for drop shipping stores that never sell a single product. Others waste hours filling out surveys for pennies, literally pennies. If filling out surveys made people rich, every teenager with Wi-Fi would already be retired. Here's the scary part. Some people are quitting their jobs, taking on debt because they believe these side hustles are a shortcut to financial freedom. Instead, they end up broke, burned out, and more stressed than ever. Now, don't get me wrong. Side hustles can be powerful, but the legit ones take time, effort, and skills. Think freelance writing, graphic design, tutoring, or even Uber driving. Not as flashy, but it's real money, and that's what matters. The second myth is the oversimplification idea of good debt versus bad debt. On TikTok, you'll hear good debt builds wealth and bad debt makes you broke. Sounds nice and simple, right? But the problem is it oversimplifies something that's way more nuanced. So let's break it down. Credit card debt at 20% interest. Obviously, bad debt. Student loans that lead to a solid career, that could be considered good debt in some cases. A mortgage for a reasonable house you can afford, sure, that could be good debt too. But here's where it gets messy. I've seen people try to justify a $60,000 car loan as good debt because they need reliable transportation. I've seen others take out loans for degrees that never pay off just because someone on TikTok calls it good debt. Just because someone on TikTok calls it good debt doesn't mean it's actually good for you. Here's the real truth. Debt is a tool, and just like a tool, it can help you build or it can cut you if you're careless. The key isn't labeling good or bad, it's understanding the interest rate, the risk, and the opportunity cost. For example, if you're carrying $10,000 in credit card debt at 20% interest and you have a student loan at 5% interest, mathematically you'd want to crush that credit card debt fast. But TikTok doesn't tell you that. They just slap a label on it and move on. What's the worst debt decision you've ever made? Drop it in the comments. No judgment. We've all been there. The third myth is probably the most viral. Invest $5 a day and retire rich. You've definitely seen this one. Just skip your daily coffee, invest it instead, and boom, you're set for life. Now here's the thing. Compounding interest is real. Investing consistently is powerful, but the way it gets presented on TikTok is misleading at best. They'll say things like $5 a day at 10% interest will make you a millionaire by 40. Not quite. Let's do some quick math. $5 a day is about $150 a month. Invest that at 10% for 40 years, and you end up with around $800,000, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but that's not retire at 30 rich. And that's assuming you're consistently investing for decades without missing a beat. Unless you plan on living in your parents' basement until you're 65, you're probably going to need more than that. Here's the scary part. Some people hear this advice, think they're set, and stop actually building a real plan. They overestimate what small contributions can do and underestimate what it really takes to retire comfortably. The real money move? Yeah, start small if that's all you can do, but focus on increasing your income by paying off high interest debt and then scaling your contributions as you grow. That's how you actually win with money. So if these viral TikToks are myths, what does actually work? Here's the boring but proven truth. Build a budget and an emergency fund. Know where your money is going. Pay off all of your debt as fast as possible, especially the high interest debt. Invest consistently in index funds, retirement accounts, or your 401k. Increase your income through skills, not gimmicks. It's not sexy. You can't fit it in a 15-second TikTok with dramatic music, but it works, and it works every time. It's not flashy, but you know what else isn't flashy? Having to Venmo request your roommate for groceries every month. So here's the truth. TikTok is great for entertainment, but it's not where you should be building your financial future. Don't fall for the myths. Don't let catchy videos keep you broke. If you actually want to avoid these traps and start growing real wealth, stick around because my next video is all about simple money habits that actually work. Real practical steps you can start today. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the worst money advice you've ever seen online? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with a friend who's constantly sending you get-rich-quick TikToks. We all know someone like that. And hey, if you do find a way to get rich filling out surveys, please send me the link. I'll be the first in line. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one.